to the Innovation Data and AI Innovation Awards. Um, it's a hard task. Long weekend is on its way. So I hope all of you are excited for next couple of hours. Yes? My name is Atul Aneja. I'm partner at BigInsights. So I'll be your host today along with Krishna. Krishna is our awards manager from BigInsights, and along with the help of our friends from General Assembly, and Naseem is there helping with photography. Alex helping with the media, it's a media partner. So why data innovation? So why are we going for Data Innovation Awards? My view is data is everywhere, right? There was a time we didn't have enough data. Now even if you move, there is data generated, right? We are generating wherever you have come from, in your car or you're walking, we are generating data, it's getting logged. And we don't know what to do with it. In fact, we have too much of data. That's where we need the innovation, right? To make sense out of all this data we are generating, right? For that, the innovation is very, very important. Otherwise, we will have a lot of data, we may not be able to use it to get the insights. Yeah? Data can help us how we live, how we work, how we play. Very simple. We all in work, we all living life. So that's where all the health related analysis will come. We all working in our daily lives. Yeah? How we play. So participating in those, giving those insights. If you are, when I was reading this morning on LinkedIn with one of the speakers put a note that there is no point having millions of sensors if we can't make sense of the data it's generating. So it's great to have all the leaders, you are all the leaders who have demonstrated this in application. Innovation doesn't mean anything or has very little value if it is not solving the problems. Right or wrong? What do you say? So every innovation has to solve some problem, whether it's a business problem, whether it's a human problem, whether it's a social innovation, it can be any of those kinds. Otherwise, it's just something you have created which is of no value to humanity. Again, work, life, and play. It has to fall in those categories. So great to have the leaders here who have demonstrated this innovation in their solutions. So I will like to thank our sponsors. Snowflake has been very kind to sponsor us for the awards, as well as our supporters, General Assembly. We have been working with them for last few years, and General Assembly has given the venue and supported us, along with all the organizations, whether it's IoT Alliance, Data Warehousing, TOI, and many others who have supported us. So we really want to thank you because of your support, we are able to do this every year. So this is the third year we are going ahead. So we are able to proceed with this and help the people. When you want to do something, you want to be acknowledged in some way. When you have created some innovation. So this awards give us an idea to get together and further progress on that path of innovation. Also, I would like to thank our judges. So we have a impressive panel of judges who spent a lot of time looking at all the nominations. So we received many nominations in different categories. So our judges helped with assessing and scoring in their busy lives. So we really want to thank all our judges. Professor Toby Walsh is here, and some of the other judges will be joining us later, and some are not able to join for certain reasons. But we really want to thank all the judges and acknowledge them. So I will quickly go through agenda of our session today. So I would like to invite Professor Toby Walsh, who will be talking on future of data and AI. Presenting Professor Toby Walsh is a Scientia Professor of AI at UNSW. He's been traveling around the world, and really thankful that he made time to come over here and also being in the panel of judges. And then after his talk, we will doing the presentation of the finalists. So we have 10 finalists. We are giving them few minutes each to do the elevator pitch to share their solution and showcase to all. Yeah. Then Minister Kean will be joining us around 12 o'clock, and after that we'll be handing out the awards. And then after that we'll have some time for networking. So at this juncture, I would like to invite Professor Toby Walsh. Let's applaud him. And
thank you. Good morning. I must admit, I joined the software industry. I started my selling software 40 years ago. I don't actually look that old, but I was a very young boy. And I wrote my first computer game. It was called Jailbreak. I was thinking back about it last night. I realized it has very similar dynamics to Crossy Road, anyone who's played Crossy Road, but with a sort of jail theme on it. The only problem was, software is always about timing. Business is always about timing. 40 years ago, almost no one had computers. So I didn't make a lot of money. So I got £100, I remember, for selling it to a software house. But that's when I started dreaming about building smarter computers, about artificial intelligence. And it's fantastic that 30 plus years later, having spent my whole professional life with that goal of mine at various universities around the world, collaborating with a number of businesses, that we're starting to succeed with that dream. And it's pretty much impossible to open a newspaper today without reading, I used to say one story, but now it's multiple stories. Every time you open a newspaper, there are multiple stories about how some new task is now being solved with the aid of AI and big data, and doing something useful in our lives. It's got to the point actually when I go. Yes. It's got to the point when I go home in the evening, my wife doesn't bother to ask me. I was interviewed by some journalist about some new advance. She just says, "Who was it today?" And she's not easily impressed. If I say the ABC, it doesn't impress her anymore. Even the BBC, it's a mere eyebrow on CNN. I have to admit though, I did go home the other day and said, well, there was a 3-page spread in the next edition of Women's Weekly. She looked at me and she said, that's it. She said, that must be peak AI. Those of you who know your Gartner technological cycle will know we must be somewhere by now at that peak point of the cycle. And AI has gone through its booms and its busts in the past. I mean, when I joined the field in the 80s, it was the start of what was called the AI winter. And so I'm sure there's going to be, perhaps a little bit of a downturn, a trough of disappointment, as we can't perhaps live up to all of the expectations that people make. But I'm not actually concerned at all. I mean, I know the next 1,000 business plans are AI for X, and to substitute whatever X you'd like in that place. But even if we stop making any significant technical progress at making machines any smarter, at doing what they can do, we already have machines now that can do useful things. There's a long way to go before we succeed in that dream I had as a very young boy, building intelligent machines. The intelligence that we can put into machines is very, very limited. We can build machines that do narrow tasks, and nothing approaches the breadth of ability. I did survey 300 of my colleagues, other leading researchers in AI around the world, and the median estimate for when we would actually get machines as smart as humans was 2062, which, coincidentally enough, there comes a little advert. That's the title of my new book, 2062. Interesting, the mean estimate, the average estimate was never, because a couple of them, 8% of them actually said never, and you take any average with infinite in it, the average is infinite as well. But the median estimate, where 50% of them said it was going to be less than, 50% of them said it was going to be more than, was 2062. So we've still got a long way to go, and that's going to be an interesting moment. But what's different now, and why I'm not expecting any return of the AI winter, is that we can do useful things in people's lives. So it was very rewarding to be one of the judges to this competition, to see the variety of applications being used, AI and big data being used for these days. And just one little comment I want to make, one little observation, which is that you hear a lot of concern. I get phoned up by journalists all the time asking me about the impact it's going to have on people's work, and particularly the concerns that people have that it's going to take away so many jobs. And one thing I think that stands out, and we'll probably see from the elevator pitches, is that sure, many of the examples, many of the entrants were talking about productivity returns. They're talking about efficiency savings, that their software was helping their business or industry or government achieve. But almost all of them had a story that wasn't just that. It was a story about improving a product, improving the service. And I think especially in a country like Australia, where we're not going to win a race to the bottom, there are far cheaper competitors in the Pacific Rim who are going to win those sorts of races. But where we stand to profit long term, where successful businesses are going to go, is by using these sorts of technologies to help them improve what they do, to make the product or the service that they offer that much more valuable to their customers. And so that's something that I think you'll see shining through in the elevator pitches that are going to come. It's a fantastic time to be, like I am, someone working in AI, to see the many years, decades that we've been working on the technology, to see it now being finally realized, to see businesses, government making a significant return with what they do by smarter and smarter software. So I commend all of the entrants. It was a tough time judging the competition. There were many, many fine entrants. I congratulate the winners, and I commiserate with the runners-up. As I said, it was a very tough competition to judge. It could have gone many ways. So I look forward to shaking all their hands. Thank you very much.
We will go through the award categories. There are 6 award categories where we will be inviting the finalists to present their elevator pitch. We had, as you have seen, 8 judges in the panel who have assessed all the nominations we received this year, and we are not only looking at winners as well as highly commendable, as Professor just said. So I will be introducing you to Krishna. Krishna is our awards manager. He will be calling all the finalists to come and present.
Thanks, Atul. So I'm Krishna. So we have top 10 finalists. we will give an opportunity for all the finalists to present their innovations in about 4 minutes sharp or less if you wish to. Right? With that, I'll call the names as well as the presenter. So that would be Group Ad founder Steve Lockstone, please.
Excuse me if we use some notes.
There you go.
Thanks. So GroupAd is a small business data and advertising aggregation platform. We're the champion for small business. Do you want to give me the pointer?
Just hold that microphone as close to your mouth as possible too.
So data is the new oil. People like companies like Google and Facebook, they're digital behemoths. They control all the data on the internet. People think access to these platforms are free, but they're not. We pay for access with our data. People visiting websites create data, and these behemoths make a fortune of money by selling that data. If businesses want more traffic to their website, they simply pay these corporates and they send traffic to their sites. They're huge data platforms. But small businesses have got websites too, and they get data from a variety of sources. A fractional amount of data, but they still get data. Paid, organic, social, direct. But it's very difficult for small business to monetize their data. In actual fact, 98% or more of people visiting a small business website will simply leave, but they do leave a trace. They leave their data. It's essentially an untapped, unused, renewable resource of data. And this is where GroupAd comes in. GroupAd aggregates the data from these small business websites into a distributed data platform. We sell that data on their behalf into an advertising exchange. Then GroupAd pays the small business for their data in the form of a proprietary blockchain-based virtual currency called the GroupAd dollar. This allows us to automatically track and pay the small business for their data using smart contracts on the blockchain and a variety of other blockchain uses. Small businesses use the GroupAd dollars to buy additional website traffic, to buy more visitors to their website. GroupAd campaigns are cooperative, direct response advertising campaigns. We don't advertise a particular brand, it's a particular solution like teeth whitening. And we call this fractional advertising. The advertising campaigns drive visitors directly to the small business website. Here's an example. This could be a dental advertising campaign in lifts and lobbies, street furniture, etc. We use a vanity URL. When people respond to that URL and follow it, they arrive directly through the GroupAd algorithm at the small business's website. And they arrive at their site proportional to the small business's contribution of data into the ecosystem. So to summarize it, what we've created is a virtuous cycle where everybody wins. The small business has a website and they have data. We aggregate that data. We sell that data into an advertising exchange. We pay the business for their data using a GroupAd dollar, which they use to buy more advertising and website visitors, which creates more data, and the cycle continues. Thank you.
Thank Thanks, Steve. We didn't have to use the timer, so thank you. With that, may I please invite the representative from Everywhere Venues, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rose Townsend, and I'm representing Everywhere Venues. Everywhere Venues is an online marketing marketplace where you can compare, book, search, and then book online venues and spaces. What we have that makes it particularly interesting for the consumer and the data that they need is how accessible each venue or space is. In fact, this data has never been collected or developed before, and we're working with the NDIS and different groups within the society to make this a national rating system. So it's a new place to go, and the first rating system for accessibility of venues throughout Australia. We're collecting data that matters, that really does matter to real people. So no matter who you are at different stages in your life or your family's life, there are likely to be accessibility needs that you have. In my case, I've just injured my knee, so I'm off a walking stick at the moment, but earlier on in the year I was pushing a pram for grandchildren, so no matter how old we are, what we're doing, it's likely that we will be needing ramps or disabled parking or other facilities. The rating system that we have has been recognised as one that really needs to go across all government bodies. So we also collect robust data on the actual usage of venues. So we can determine who's using it, particularly with councils. The venues are very important because councils typically have many underutilised venues, and from their point of view, it's a case of, well, who is hiring the venues? Should we be giving different rates to our people who are ratepayers or for people who are out of town? And how many bookings are being made? How much are the venues earning? I come from Bathurst, and at the moment we're so aware of just how many venues we have there that are just so totally underutilised. I'm also a mediator, so in my case, if I go to Dubbo or want to do a mediation, what venue can I use? How do I know how friendly or the ambience of the place, what type of facilities are available? So this is what our website is able to offer, both as a consumer to give really important, valuable data, and for the people who are hiring out the venues to let them know how much they're earning, who's using their assets and where they're coming from. We have Temora Shire Council have taken on board this app very thoroughly, and I'd just like to present to you Mr. Sinclair, who's the Managing Director of Innovation and Tourism at Temora Shire Council.
Your sound is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's Krishna and not me.
Hi, I'm Craig Sinclair, Manager of Economic Development and Tourism at Temora Shire Council. I'm sitting in Temora's 82-seat Town Hall Theatre, one of over 50 bookable spaces. I'm Craig Sinclair, Manager of Economic Development and Tourism at Temora Shire Council. I'm sitting in Temora's 82-seat Town Hall Theatre, one of over 50 bookable spaces Council has listed on Everywhere Venues. These spaces range from meeting rooms to sporting facilities, a shooting shed, and even our 2 runways. Having all Council's venues listed on one site makes it far easier and more efficient for residents and visitors to discover and book spaces without the need to wait for Council offices to be open. For event planners, this means they no longer need that local knowledge to plan conferences and events. For council staff, it means we can streamline the booking and payment process for all venues, reducing staff time. We can easily analyse where event organisers are located, which venues are performing best, and those which need maintenance and future investment. A key feature of the Everywhere Venues platform is the accessibility rating function. This information enables those with accessibility needs to be confident that the venue will enable them to access facilities with dignity and within their capability. So we're excited to see where this smart city technology leads for our small but innovative community.
We're very pleased that Temora have taken it on. We have a number of councils that are working with us to get it happening for their shire as well. We're very grateful to be able to present this information to all of you as well. We're about to head off to Japan and use our accessibility rating system for their events for the Tokyo for the Olympic Games. So there are big things happening. We're very pleased that we can share what's available. And if you or anyone has an accessibility need and need a venue, this is going to be the place to give you that information. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we'd like to invite DigiWise's CEO, Emma Lowe-Russo, please.
Good morning, everybody. So I just wanted to share a little bit where we've come from. DigiVisor is a company that I co-founded 8 years ago. We are a development ad partner to the major social and search platforms, but we've been building all our technology and serving the enterprise end of town. And then have seen the opportunity because we kept being contacted by smaller businesses and funded startups saying, how can we find out what's going on in social and digital, so to the points of some of the previous speakers, like harnessing the fact that people are mobile mostly first, leaving their digital footprint across platforms, sites, etc. How could that all be harnessed in a way that could help them understand what's working for them and what isn't? So we've been building, and what we submitted as part of these awards is the next kind of iteration after 8 years, which is a SaaS solution as opposed to a custom implementation that answers the question of how is my digital investment working for me? What content is working for me? How are my channels performing in owned, so your social channels, in earned, so influencers, people who are talking about you, people who are talking to you, who's most frequently talking about that, and then from a paid media, so being able to see all your channels and Google all in one spot, and being able to easily answer questions and filter by campaign, ad set or ad, and being able to do really smart filters on it. So it's really about just, I feel quite passionate about this more for less for more, like how to deliver as much value for as low dollars to reach more people, and I feel we've finally been able to get to that point in our history where we've been very lucky, and we still serve that big end of town, but now have a product that's available to everybody, and really making that easy, because often those who need that data are not necessarily data scientists or intensive career specialists in paid media. So how can we make it easy for them to get those insights? So just to give you a sense of just our current SaaS, so this is at the enterprise end. Just this last week alone, we've delivered over 6 million data points to our customers who have connected their accounts, tracked over 2 million in ad spend. Sorry, it's missing. Actually, I think it was 2.6 million, but anyhow, $2, like every dollar counts, right? Every dollar counts. They should read 2.6 million. And over 1.1 million in social points alone. But this is really about making it easy for brands to be able to see. The tech that we built, though, is actually ended up having other applications. So we've actually unlocked for a global technology brand their full influencer tracking globally, and they've got 150 influencers that have given permission in so that they can see all their engagement data and what they're talking about in relation to their product. So we're finding that it's actually scaling back up into the enterprise end, even though we've made it affordable for every business. In terms of how we've been serving customers, so the 2 case studies that we put in for the awards is really about businesses also being kind of using data in a way that hadn't been done before. So in this case, My Runners is taking a premium racehorse at like the $280,000 level, dividing it by 1,000 units, and then making that premium racehorse available with a match with a premium trainer like Gay Waterhouse, David Hayes, with a full digital weekly communication, but you can buy mobile. And so all that data of people who love racing or love sports or team play, and we found all these lovely, all data insight led, but able to track that all through our system, and the client's got that information, their investors have got that information, they've gone through their 3rd funding round, but they've actually been able to sell 6,000 units, so that's 6 horses, and they're actually scaling up pretty big from here. The other application, Evergen, which is smart solar energy, like smart energy systems, so it's solar panels with solar battery, but with CSIRO technologies, and using smart data within that. So again, just being able to do more of what works and less of what doesn't, being able to see an 86% increase in lead growth and 55% drop in cost per lead, but really driving value for their business. So it's quite exciting when you start to harness all that data into value, and I think for us the big change is that we've been able to kind of make that available to everyone. Barilla, so a global brand, actually use this app that we put in as technology to be able to identify the content they put into channels. So 85% of their, well now actually it's up to 95% of their content is able to be surfaced really easily and published into their channels. So we're on this part of our journey, so from fewer clients but big revenues to lots of businesses smaller with a SaaS model. And it was always good to see acknowledgement of Australian technology and companies like us that it is expensive, and it's Australia's not best on bandwidth and processing power and cost of processing and all the things that we need, skill shortage, but we can compete. And when you've got something that you can put and make available globally, it's great to see that we have the same opportunity as anyone else to deliver that. That's it.
Thank you, Emma. Right. We now move to the next presenter. That's going to be NSW Data Analytics Center, Dr. Kimji Bakhtiani.
Okay, great, thank you. Thanks for the invite. So my name is Kimji Bakhtiani. I'm with the New South Wales Data Analytics Centre. Just a quick overview, the DAC, we call it, some of you obviously know, some don't, but the DAC was set up by the New South Wales Cabinet to basically provide evidence-based data analytics services across government for essentially data for essentially agencies across government. So this particular tool that we developed that I'm going to share with you was something that came out of the New South Wales DAC, and it was the AI, artificial intelligence spend categorization tool. So this is a little bit of the background. So we worked with New South Wales Procurement, jointly developed the AI tool with machine learning to categorize the state's $30 billion spend. At the moment, we categorize it based on an ABN. So when you send an invoice, we categorize it based on an ABN. So if it's an ABN for a company that's computer services, we don't look beyond that up until now. And so we now used an AI technology, looked at 5 years of historical government spend, 18 million records, used some of the latest AI tools and technologies, and what we found was we could categorize using this AI tool to up to 95% accuracy from the previous version from the rule base. Now, some of the benefits of that is that we, instead of having 4 FTEs working on this system every quarter, doing the categorization manually, we now can do it in 3 hours. So truly AI, and to take the professor's point, it does take jobs, but we can now use these 4 FTEs doing something much more valuable, which is of course the whole idea of technology. The other key aspect was that a portion of that, the 30 billion spend, was under an other category that had no categories for. So any invoices that come under $10,000 often goes into other, and that is actually, I won't share the amount, but it's actually quite a sizable amount of dollars that go into another category. This particular tool, because it uses natural language processing, actually reads the invoice that goes into a GL and then can categorize it and put it into an appropriate category. So, for example, stationery, a pen, a biro, the system currently, or the previous system, may not have been able to see. Our tool, this one, can now see it and put it into a bucket that we can categorize now. So some of the savings we've had is rationalized expenditure. This tool is now being rolled out through all the various agencies across government. So just in a pictorial sense, we collect the data from across 150 agencies across government through the various clusters. There was that rule-based system, so company ABC has an ABN, and we categorize it, and there were multiple rules that would be applied, and then they would be categorized and they'd go into what's called a spend queue. And then you'd be able to visualize it in some form or another. Now, what we've done is the same thing, but replaced the manual processes that we employed using the various AI technologies that we've developed. And of course, now you can see it to a much more granular level of categories. Some of the benefits that we're seeing already is that now we can leverage the buyer, leverage some of the buying power that government should have. We're providing better insights as to what's being spent across government and possibly some anomalies that may exist within the spending that government has across. I mean, $30 billion is not an insignificant amount of expenditure to be able to work. But also we now can move towards trying to predict the kind of expenditure that we may have across the different clusters. And the final point I want to make, and I didn't put this up here, is that we've actually signed a partnership with Microsoft with this. So if you Google Microsoft plus Minister Dominello AI, you'll find the article. I didn't want to put this up today, but that is to essentially commercialize this tool beyond what it is at the moment. And the vision for that was that we've developed IP within government. Who else could leverage off this? And so we're talking to the Queensland government, we're talking to WA government, Tasmanian government, and we're talking to other non-government corporations or government-related corporations within New South Wales as well. So the idea of developing insights is fine. What are you going to do with the insights? So we're taking it to that next step, which is to commercialize and productize a solution. And why Microsoft? It's on the Azure platform, but also we think that they have the capabilities and the distribution network that we possibly may not have. So taking the insights to a much a different level of experience. Okay, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kimji. Now we just have one video by one of the finalists. So they could not be here. They are based out of Melbourne, but they'll be hearing virtually through their video.
G'day, I'm Andre Eason. I'm the head of data products at Sports. Basically means my rank includes all of our data science teams. So I'm going to talk to you today about one of our multi-problem. So at Sportsbet, we really feel we're a customer-first business. Our mission is to bring excitement to life for our customers. We try to do that in a variety of ways. The one we're going to focus on today is through innovative betting products, which are driven by quantitative or data science models. So to give a bit of context to start with, very traditional, a couple of traditional betting products that we use. One of them is, the simplest thing you can do, you want to bet on a footy game, you just bet on who's going to win the match. So if you look at the right-hand side of this slide here, it's all about Geelong's just going to win their match against Collingwood. Then starting to get a little bit more complex on the left-hand side, you can also bet on what we call derivative markets, or just, smaller events that might happen over the course of the game. So for example, here you could bet on Cyril Rioli to be the first goal scorer in Hawthorn's match against Sydney. Obviously when this slide was done up, Cyril was still an active player. So that's great. Those are very traditional betting products. That's kind of stuff that's been around in our industry for a fair while. One of the other things you can do is you can combine them. So we call that a multi, or in Europe some people might be more familiar with the term ACCA, accumulator. You basically multiply the odds together for those two events, and then if both events come off, you get paid out at that multiple price. So all of that stuff is great. It's also fairly old hat. Bookies have been letting people bet on wild and wacky stuff and bet and cash out during games for a while now and place multis. What I'm really here to talk about today is the next evolution of this, which is where same game multis come in. So if you think about that idea of taking two separate events and multiplying the odds together to get a big payout, does it really work if you're in the same game? So say if Cyril Rioli kicks the first goal, but you also want to bet on Hawthorn to win the match, or in this case to bet on Hawthorn to win the match by 40 plus points, is it as simple as just multiplying those two prices together? And unfortunately, that's not really the case. If Cyril Rioli kicks the first goal, you might think that Hawthorn's probably more likely to win the game. In particular, they might be more likely to really kick on and blow the Hawks out. Blow the Swans out by a big margin. So it's not as simple as just being able to multiply those prices together. And this was actually a bit of a pain point for some of our customers. Some of our customers just didn't understand, if I can pick all this stuff out, why won't you let me bet on it? So that's really where the next evolution of this comes in.
Heaps of men ask Sportsbet, why can't we build a multi in one game of footy? Well, now you can. Just pull out your phones and fire up Sportsbet's new same game multi. Catch to win, into total match points, and first goal scorer. Genius. Those same men then asked, hey, stop copying me. Oh, real mature. That's it, mute. Same game multi, new from Sportsbet.
So, putting all that together, how does it actually work? In order to build, basically we build a model that simulates out an entire game, and also to build our models, as in any other sphere, if we can, we start with data. In the AFL, this comes from champion data. In other cases, we use other providers or publicly available sources, like Cricinfo, and then we start diving into it, looking back to that data. We use that data to simulate out any given game out to 10,000 times from the start, if it's pre-match, or from any other point during the game, because we still take bets during the match. We take into consideration stuff like, the flow of the game. Are some quarters or parts of quarters higher scoring than others? Does that depend on how big a favourite or lead there is in the match, or how many total points the match is in for? Are there momentum effects? Does a leading side tend to kick away in some circumstances, or how likely is a trailing team to come back? So in this aspect, it's really great being able to work with experienced traders, people who've been around this business for a long time, people who really understand sports inside and out. I firmly believe in any other sphere that a good enough quant or a data scientist can build a model for anything if they have the right data. But having that subject matter expertise around the place is a huge help in figuring out what the right data should be, and cuts down a lot of time in terms of feature engineering or testing different formulations. So things that might sound obvious to people who know a sport, like that accuracy goes down on windy days, or that it's bloody hard to race the ball 310 seconds after a kick in, aren't necessarily obvious if all you have to go on is data. The clues are there, but it's hard to know where to start looking. One of the other things we have to consider is the practicalities of how this will be used. These models need to respond in real time to events that are happening in a match, so whatever model we build has to keep up. Traders add a lot of value here too. So in this simple case, on this first slide here, we're only concerned with who wins the match, but then we get a bit more, to get in something a bit more complex. It's the same concept, the same game multis, the same simulation model is driving it, so we use the same approach. along with a nifty pricing tool that we call the Abacus to price more complex same-game multis like the one we've got listed here. So Cyril Rioli to kick the first goal and the Hawks to win by 40 plus. So what we do is we start by picking out all the roles where Cyril...
Sorry, so we gave them 1 minute extra, so I had to discontinue. To be fair to everyone here. All right, so sorry, with that said, so that's sports bet. Now maybe invite UTA's ANZ One Path representative, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Angela Kean, and I'm here today to represent NSW and the collaboration work with the team over there at UTS. So a lot of people in this room might be aware of the life insurance process already and how painful it can be. So what do we mean by underwriting innovation? So we have the lengthy underwriting process, and when you think about the life insurance, we are asking more than 100 questions. And all the underwriters, they have to go through manually, and there were some tools, but still is quite a lengthy process. So when we talk about the collaboration work we did with the UTS team, we use AI and data science driven approach, and we try to reduce the number of questions asked and try to really help the underwriters and also help the customers to have more pleasant customer experience. So when you look at the life insurance cycle, you can see that the filling the questionnaire and going through all the underwriting process and overall policy, and then if the policy can be rejected after all that, and also the claims associations and the claims, all the criteria is quite complicated. So what we've done is with UTS team is we've used AI-driven the machine learning technique to reduce the questions and then cut down the questionnaires and also try to work out what's the criteria from the claims, then the association with the claims, the exclusions and the questionnaires. And then we decide how to create the virtual underwriter, the risk engine. So next page, please. Yeah. So when you look at, so basically we moved from the manual lengthy questionnaire process to the automated, AI-driven and machine learning, and then the process to come up with a very succinct and automated process. So we've gone through this already, but as you can see that after this, the risk engine we've created is actually digest all the information and simplified all the questionnaires, and also made sure the quality assurance is ensured in terms of we kept the relevant information for the right customers, and also we came up with how the claims association is taken care of properly. So we've taken all the 10 years worth of application data and 10 years underwriting data and 10 years of claims data to understand how we can create the best virtual underwriter, the risk engine. So I believe throughout this process, and the wealth has benefited understanding how to really help our underwriters to make better decisions, really assisted by the tools and the data, and how to help them spend more time to understand what's the next pain point, how can we drive further, now we've automated and streamlined the process, and how we can really provide a better product and a better process to the customers. So that outcome can be the improved business process as well as, and also we've learned new insights about the data patterns from the claims. So this is one of the examples we've taken. We've got this heat map of understanding more than 100 questions to horizontally, and vertically all the claims question, claims outcomes. So particularly the color denotes that the blue is less important, and the pink and the warmer tone is more important. So particular example can be, the question asked about the alcohol, do you drink alcohol question, and the claim association is with fall. And that turned out to be more important and significant for underwriting process. So I think that this was the, throughout this collaboration, we've learned a lot of things about our customers and streamlined the whole underwriting process. And we've assisted and we were able to provide more tailored and better products to our customers in a faster and simpler way. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we move on to the next one, which is NNCO, the COO and CTO, Tony Tilbrook, please.
Hi everyone, my name's Tony Tilbrook. I'm from NNCO, National Narrowband Company. I'm just waiting for the one. So, we at NNCO believe that for IoT to meet the promised outcome of helping our world environmentally, socially, economically, we have to find a way to normalise the data, to harmonise the data, and make it accessible to the data scientists and the consumers of data to be able to get access to and use it. So one of the problems that we've got, of course, is that with the complex ecosystem around device manufacturers, platform providers, systems integrators, the use cases, applications, and so forth, to combine that, including the different network technologies, whether it's LoRaWAN, whether it's could be NB-IoT, it could be Sigfox, it could be any number of different transmission technologies. All of these things have got to come in from one place and be seen by groups of people. If we isolate ourselves, we don't get the benefit, the full benefit of that data. So what we did, we decided to create this thing called end-to-end. What end-to-end really is, it's a multi-tenanted, nested platform which decrypts, decodes, and actually enriches the data from any source or any network and converts it into a simple RESTful API. Under the hood a little bit, we've deliberately and specifically broken it into two areas. One is end-to-end DL, the other is end-to-end viz. DL, quite simply, the data layer. What that's for is to provide all of the heavy lifting associated with getting data in. Protocol translation, decode, decrypt, enrichment, so forth. We deliver that information via an API to our visualization platform, but it could be anyone's visualization platform. And that's specific and deliberate. We're under no illusion that we're going to take over the world with our visualization platform. But what we would like to do is be able to provide a way for other third-party platform providers to be able to ingest data from any source or any device. So, I've already summarised this already. It facilitates an easy, low-cost data journey. We're cutting across many industries, and we're doing this today in terms of parking, bins, energy, downlink control of those things, device management of those items, and actually bringing that all together into one place so that the smarter people, much smarter than I, the data scientists, can take use of that data and actually make some decisions. So very simply, this slide is intended just to say any device, any network, any platform. Through here, the DL layer. So really, just to give you a quick high-level feature access here, auto registration for device onboarding, device configuration. We do all the heavy lifting around downlink control and data management as far as that's concerned. We provide the data storage element around this. Up to 10 million devices have been simulated at this point in time around the system. Very important when you consider the promised outcome of this. This industry is in Australia alone up to 100 million devices within the next 5 to 7 years. Big impact. Third-party data access, data integration, visualization, and analytics. We're not going to do the analytics, but we're going to make that analytics possible by means of applying group-based many-to-many architecture which allows the application of attributes to devices and data to allow scientists and consumers to take that data and do something special with it. In an ENCO, some of you won't know who we are. We actually are building a national narrowband network out of LoRaWAN, but today we're specifically focusing on end-to-end and more specifically end-to-end DL. Thank you.
Thank you. May I invite Know-How Here's co-founder, David Hegati, please.
Good morning, everybody. Look, very quickly around Know-How Here. We're essentially a solution for the field workforce, for people who are performing dangerous tasks in the real world. So the key thing is that if you're a person who cares about your field workforce, it knows who you are, who those people are they are they safe, and it provides to them the information they need to be safe and productive in their role. So how big a problem is it? Look, just in mining in WA, 2,100 serious injuries in a year. How serious is that? $35,000 an incident, $75 million a year for the costs, not counting the cost of shutting sites down, not counting the costs awarded by the courts and so forth. So, and of course not counting the human cost of those injuries. How do we fix it? So when we look at millions of sensors and the Internet of Things and so forth, one of the challenges is that the human side is completely missing. What we see with the Know-How Here is that you, as say a mine manager, sees there's somebody who's used the app to report an incident. There's a bunch. I've geofenced that incident, the red area. Within that, there's some 5 people have got the notification, which tells them not just there's a risk, but what to do about it. 2 of those people have acknowledged and said, I'm out of here. 3 people have got the message but yet to respond. And those other blue people, if they get anywhere near it, it'll tell them what to do. So if it's a spill, I can see the hazard, I can see who's been notified, and off they go. It's not just hazards, so my certification to be here might be expiring. I might need to know what equipment to wear, whatever I need to be safe, it tells me where and when. A whole lot of paper-based forms I need to fill in, doing my hazard observations and so forth. All that data, the app knows who you are and where you are, so there's a heap less time taken filling all that in, plus you know it actually genuinely happened where and when. The third piece is most of the accidents happen because people don't follow the procedure, and what the courts find is they didn't have access to the information when they needed it. So if I'm near that excavator and I'm a mechanic, it will show me the information I need to fix that machine and nothing else. So using my location, we call it location intelligence. So those are the key points: inbuilt safety tools, management being able to see where people are, spatially triggered alerts, and know-how at the point of need. So at that point, I'll show you a quick video from one of our clients in my organisation. I picked him because he's a person who inspired us, because he's the person who first said to us, look at all this information. No people. All information about the pumps and so forth.
The Sino Iron Project is City Pacific Limited's first major investment in Australia.
My name's Trevor Hope and I work in learning and development for City Pacific Mining, which is a iron ore mining company based here in Perth, Western Australia. I've been working in learning and development in the mining sector for a number of years here in Western Australia, and looking at different health, safety, environmental training projects. So one of the biggest challenges we have in the mining industry here in Western Australia is the remote locations that people operate in. I'm often working in areas where there's no phone coverage or no network coverage. We've got people working on their own in highly dangerous environments where they need to know lots of information. They need to have that information available immediately to them. So Know-How Here is great in that it allows workers to be able to access information And also it prompts them as well to remind them about some of the health and safety issues that they may be facing in their workplace every day, which sometimes they can become a little bit complacent to. So the application works in both ways. It allows us as an employer to monitor our workers and see where they are and see what work they're carrying out. It also allows us to communicate with them effectively without bombarding them with lots of emails or phone calls or text notifications. So for us it's ideal in that a worker operating on their own remotely can access information about where they are and what they're doing at any important time. In our current workplace, workers are overloaded with information. They're getting numerous emails, they get lots of information that return to work meetings, they get read through really long procedures and documents that they have to sign and agree to, but at the time of need they don't have that information with them, although they can't actually remember it. So one of the great things about know-how here is that the right people are getting the right information at the right time, and they're getting that information where they need it most, and that's in the workplace. So instead of having to go back and make reference to documents or to try and look through emails or look for a procedure that may not even be current, with know-how here, they're able to get that information for them in the workplace at the right time.
I might be slightly over. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you, David. So we have one more finalist, which is Data to Decisions RC, which is a video.
Treatments for cardiovascular conditions such as heart attacks and heart failure are complex, expensive, and have far-reaching consequences for patients. Yet we know little about what happens to patients after they leave the hospital. How many people survive? How many are readmitted to hospitals with complications? How much does this cost the health system? Without such basic information, it is challenging for doctors and hospitals to know if the resources they spend lead to meaningful benefits for patients. The Data to Decisions Cooperative Research Centre brings together researchers and industry leaders to tackle big data challenges. The CRC has collaborated with medical professionals from the Heart Foundation, the University of Adelaide, and the Basil Hetzel Institute to deliver groundbreaking technology using over 1 million healthcare records from more than 1,000 hospitals. The Orion project is a first of its kind in Australia and has enabled a nationwide assessment of outcomes of hospital-based care for common conditions and procedures using big data analysis. Hospital data is routinely collected at every hospital and has been for a number of years. However, until now, its value has not been realised. The issue has not been due to lack of data, but rather a lack of a mechanism to bring the data together. The Orion project utilises data already collected by hospitals to develop inexpensive methods to illuminate the end results of care nationally. Combining experienced clinical knowledge and cutting-edge data science techniques, the CRC has developed a software package that automatically generates clinical outcome analysis in a timely and efficient fashion. This software package can process large data sets and produce valuable outputs automatically. As a result of this analysis, critical insights regarding the quality of cardiac healthcare in Australia have been revealed. For example, the results have shown that the risk-standardised 30-day mortality rate for patients suffering from heart failure varies significantly across hospitals, ranging from 6 to 18%. Readmission data has also been analysed, providing insights into certain conditions that are causing expensive returns to hospital. Long-term prognoses of conditions are also of importance to patients, and this has been investigated here. This big data analysis has the ability to greatly improve patient care, including potentially decreasing the number of cardiac-related deaths, highlighting exemplar performing hospitals in order to analyse their techniques, as well as saving health departments substantial amounts of money. In addition, hospital data is generally of the same format, so this solution can be applied to numerous health areas, not just cardiology, and shows great potential for expansion. Not only does the potential lie in the improvement of Australian patient outcomes for any condition, but since the project is based heavily on the use of ICD-10 codes, it is scalable to several other countries that also use this coding system, including the USA, Canada, UK, Germany, and France. This project has already received strong government and agency support, And it is clear that this project has the potential to revolutionise the way hospital outcomes are measured and acted upon. The Orion project shows that seldom used hospital data can be analysed to highlight valuable insights into clinical outcomes and could dramatically improve patient care while reducing costs to the healthcare system.
All right, so with that, D2 DRC is completed. So may I invite Insight Tech representative Glenn Harris, please?
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Harris from Insight Tech. I was just going to talk to you about our big data and AI program that we're using for a large-scale manufacturing business. Tech Pivot operates what are classed as major hazard facilities in the industrial field of explosives, fertilisers and gas refining, and they're some of our operations around Australia and globally. Each site has typically 100 to 1,000 tags, pulling in data every second. So over the course of a year, you're getting towards 1 trillion records. So there's a lot of data that's there, stored, but very rarely used to its full potential. So why do anything? The 4 things that we were targeting was growing revenue, so improving the production and the quality, so the rate of production and quality, adding value with services, reducing the cost through improved uptime, plant uptime and advanced condition monitoring and predictive analytics around equipment failures. We're looking to go faster. How do we transition from large workforces with large amounts of data and large manually intensive analysis? So how can we move from sort of weeks of processing time to within minutes? How do we retain that knowledge through systems to allow it to occur on an autonomous basis? And also performance assurance. So a big drive has been to integrate technology with a business culture so that we ensure that sustainability in the long term. So what we've found with our project and the path to success, the things that have driven it to success have been executive involvement and sponsorship early, so we had a good level of involvement, early engagement with subject matter experts and technology providers, working with MAPR, engaging all the engineers on site, basically building the definition of what we wanted to achieve, establishing that core team to again provide that definition. Starting slow and building on the successes, so getting quick wins in uptime, knowledge retainment, higher levels of insight at a faster rate, and then building a platform and rolling that out across remaining sites. So basically using the technology to showcase the capabilities and mapping out the integration with existing business systems. We also deployed analytics at the edge. A lot of sites are very remote locations, lack of bandwidth. How can you use all those advanced algorithms and areas that you've built where you don't have bandwidth? So by building edge-based analytics, we're able to put that at the source, the local source, and deploy the insights to a corporate cloud-based system, which is on AWS. So digital technologies in accordance with the predefined technology plan. So another key to success was we've got a global strategy around how we roll out technology, so that we don't jump into advanced technology. Let's get all the foundations right, get all that data according to a master data structure, a plan, get it in the areas we need it to be able to use it, and then apply those algorithms to get the insights. So we're focusing on multi-tenancy, performance, security, scalability, standardisation, and importantly compatibility with existing infrastructure and legacy systems, so that we can broaden the reach of those data sources. And again, addressing the foundational requirements first to build on that sustainability. So that's just a partial screenshot of the system. So it's a turbine-driven compressor. We track alarms, history, work orders, performance maps, uptime performance, work orders, costs. Basically multiple sources that would have to be all compiled manually is all located on a single dashboard, and it's a framework that can then be rolled out across all pieces of equipment and plans according to our global strategy to roll out globally across those other sites. That's another screenshot. So in future opportunities, so now what we're looking at is, so we've got an edge piloting project, edge piloting process, replacing some of our historical historians with a big data system with MapR TV, enhancing that data capture through wireless infrastructure, accelerating the manufacturing excellence program. We've got a ready-built data science platform. We'll use that to basically build our employee skill sets and facilitate knowledge retainment. We're not looking to effectively reduce people, but increase their productivity. We're finding more value in upskilling them than reducing numbers. And then how do we leverage the system? So we'll utilise the success to date to basically use the structure as a proxy for broader rollout across the remainder of fertilisers and explosives business units. Yeah, so that's been Instinctive's experience. So thanks everyone.
Thank you, Glenn. With that, I will hand over to Atul for the next session.
Thanks to all the presenters. I hope you enjoyed the presentations. While Krishna is moving the slides, I would like to quickly welcome Minister Matt Kean, Minister for Innovation and Better Regulation. He's here. Let's applaud him and clap for him. He has given time from his busy schedule and going to hand out the awards as well. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
We'll quickly go through the history of the awards. This is the third year of the awards. Awards founded, and even BigInsights founded by Raj Dalal. He's here. Let's applause for him as well. So he handed over the baton to us now while founding BigInsights as well as these Data and AI Innovation Awards. So we are doing this for last 3 years, and we had support from state as well as federal governments. And also want to acknowledge Julian. He's not here for personal reason. Consensus helped us in the first 2 years to run the awards, and this year we are using their licensing and methodology for assessments. So we really want to clap for him as well. Without his help, we will not come this far. Quickly browsing through some of the photos for 16 with the winners as well as Minister at that time, Craig Londy and Victor Dominello were there. And the next one we had last year Matt Kean as well handing out the award. So happy to have you here again. So quickly I will go through before we start and request Matt to speak on innovation and data. Just what do we do at BigInsights? So BigInsights is a data advisory and consulting firm. We help organizations to utilize and make sense out of data, if I say that. We help them. Also, we do run innovation workshops and provide data scientists and resourcing for the organizations. We have few clients already which we are working with, Hitachi Consulting to name a few. Cloudera is there, and Tibra, hedge fund is there, and we are also helping the startups in their initial phase when they have too many ideas and they don't know which ideas to actually go forward with. So we help them focus on certain ideas and coach them during that phase along with the consulting. So with that, I would like to invite Minister Matt Kean to say a few words on innovation, and then we will continue with the awards handout.
Well, thank you, Atul. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to be here today as the Minister for Innovation and Better Regulation in New South Wales. And I wanted to just start by saying it was Winston Churchill, who's a political hero of mine, that said that the future of the future empires will be the empires of the mind. And it's a really important point that I wanted to make here today, because who would have thought back when Churchill gave those great words that there would be companies today with GDPs bigger than entire nations? And the point is, the human ingenuity is driving that growth, that empowering our economies. And disruption really is the new normal. Disruption is the new normal in New South Wales, indeed right across the world, and it's creating more efficient, more productive economies that are lifting people right across the globe. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. So to Atul and Raj, I want to congratulate you on this great initiative, celebrating innovation right here in New South Wales and indeed across the country, particularly in the area of AI and data. I mean, we know that data is the most important commodity in the new economy. It's like the new oil, effectively. And that's why we need to make sure that we're encouraging innovators to use that data to find solutions for problems that we haven't been able to solve. And I'm not just saying this as government to give these buzzwords. We're trying to live this. And the New South Wales government has set up the Data Analytics Centre. Well, we're a great repository of data, and we're using that to find solutions to problems that governments haven't been able to solve, whether it be improving life for people living with a disability, or making our public transport system work better, improving the efficiency that you get when you go into Service New South Wales. So if government can do it, then certainly private enterprise can do it. And I want to celebrate exactly that today, what you're doing to make our economies and make people's lives far better through the use of data, through the use of AI. Now, when you think innovation, I want you to be thinking New South Wales. And that's exactly what our government's focus is. I want New South Wales, and indeed Sydney, to be the capital of innovation in the whole Asia-Pacific region. Now, right now, you probably think of innovation as Silicon Valley or Tel Aviv. Well, I want our state talked about in the same way that we talk about those other places. And we've got a plan to do that. We've set up the Sydney Entrepreneurial School just down the road here, a $40 million investment to encourage our entrepreneurs to turn their ideas into jobs and growth for our economy. We've set up the School of Entrepreneurship, where we're encouraging our entrepreneurs, our startups, our innovators to develop the business skills that they need to scale their idea, to take it from just an idea into a business that will employ people and grow our economy. But we're also looking to do other things. I want to see us have a tech precinct right here in Sydney. And the Premier has recently announced that up near Central Station, we'll be setting up a precinct that will bring together all the actors in the innovation ecosystem, from our universities, to our startups, to our entrepreneurs, to existing businesses, all together in the one place to turbocharge innovation in this state and drive innovation in this country. So we've got a big agenda, and we can't do it alone. It's not just up to government to fulfil this ambition. We need to work hand in glove with you in the private sector to make this a reality. And there's a lot at stake. If we don't get the policy settings right, if we don't ensure that New South Wales and Sydney is the innovation capital of Australia, then those jobs that will come with the new economy, those opportunities and that growth, that people that are embracing innovation will be benefiting from, will miss out on that here, and we will be left as a rust bucket state. So my call to each and every one of you is to work with us to make sure that Sydney, New South Wales is the innovation capital, not only Australia, but the whole Asia Pacific region. Because we need to make sure that we can continue to turbocharge our economy and make sure that this state is the best place to live, to work, and to raise a family into the future. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're going to do. And I'm delighted to hand out some awards today in recognition of the great achievements that you've made so far.
Can we also have a representative from Snowflake, our sponsor? Please come forward to hand out the awards.
Where'd you like? Just here. Go ahead. I'm now. Nice to see you. How are you?
Krishna will be announcing the winners one by one, and we'll be handing it out.
Yeah. So the first award category is Best Startup. So we have one winner and one highly commended. So first, I'll announce the winner. That's Everywhere Venues.
So I'm the regulator of their meetings so far. So you've got the right person to jump in here. Congratulations. Well done.
And the highly commended within the startup category is Group Ad.
Where are you from? Johannesburg. You've come a long way to be here.
So what's the business? It's an aggregation platform for small business data. Okay. We help small business to monetize their unused data to buy more traffic.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Great job.
And we move on to next category, which is Customer Insights. So we have one winner here, and that is DigiWiser.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell me about
Thank you.
DigiVisor. Tell everyone about DigiVisor.
I already have, but you missed it. No, I know.
Present
But basically, it's a really easy platform for any business to connect their social and search.
Even politicians.
Even politicians to see all your data, who's talking about you. You know what they're saying, their posts, and all your paid data as well. All in one easy app, so you know what's working, what isn't.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
With that, we move on to the next category, which is Best Government Service. So that's NSW Data Analytics Center.
Congratulations. Victor will be devastated. Nice to meet you as well. Congratulations. Let me give you that. I did not select this one. Victor would kill me if I did. So. Yeah, exactly. Nice to meet you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
So with that, we move on to next category, which is IoT. So we have one winner and two highly commended. So may I start with the winner, which is Insight Tech Pivot.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations. Well done. Fantastic. Excellent. So tell me about your IoT business. Fantastic. That's terrific. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done.
And the highly commended is NN & Co.
Hi. Congratulations. Well done. So tell me about your business.
Thank you.
Give you an award.
Yeah, sure. It's an IoT device and data aggregation.
Yeah, right. Fantastic. Congratulations. Well done.
And we have one more highly commended in this category, which is know-how here.
There you go. Want to know how here?
It keeps people who work in dangerous jobs in the real world safe by giving knowledge on your need.
Okay. Yeah, great. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. So with that, we move on to next category, which is data analytics. And we have one winner and two highly commended. So I start with a winner, which is UTS ANZ One Path.
Hi. Excellent. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. Well done. I'm a graduate. I'm very excited that you won. Congratulations. Shoshana. Nice to meet you, Shoshana. And Reese. Nice to see you. And Shaul. Nice to see you. Congratulations.
Yes,
well
thank you
done.
very much.
So you're the professor, are you?
Yeah.
Nice addition. Terrific.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well done. Tell us that I saw you guys.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I announced the highly commended company, which is Data to Decisions, D2DRC. I guess.
Hi. Congratulations. Well done. Tell me about Data to Decisions.
This project was about insights into cardiac complications from health administrators data. So,
yeah, terrific. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have one more highly commended in this category, which is sports bet, but they could not be here. They're based out of Melbourne, so a round of applause for them too.
Thank you.
And we have one more category, the last category, which is AI category. And we have one winner and one highly commended. The winner is UTS ANZ One Path.
Yeah. Got
It's a great university.
Well
done.
Congratulations.
Quick. Well done.
Quick, man.
Shut it, jump in here.
Yeah.
Even it up. Okay. Terrific. Well done. Congratulations.
And we have one highly commended, which is NSW Data Analytics Center.
give someone else a go. Well done. We're very proud of it. Very proud of it. Yeah, thank you for your help.
So with that, all 6 categories are covered with winners and highly commended.
Thank you all. Thank you, Minister Kean, for coming and handing out the awards. So we'll spend next 30-40 minutes for networking and food. Please feel free and mingle around. And I wish you, yeah. So also to appreciate Minister Kean's presence here, we have an award for you. Award of appreciation.
Everyone wins a prize here. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, Minister, I didn't
hold up my award. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here to support us. We need this continuous innovation and support to move ahead and use the data which we can utilize for bigger causes and bigger purposes. Thank you.
Thank you.